This is Around the County.
Hello and welcome to Around the County here at First Choice Workspace in Wantage, New Jersey. I'm your host, Cat Maione, and I am here today with Bruce Young. He's an artist, and some of your work is here at the gallery, and it's beautiful.
Thank you.
I happen to know you for a while now, and I gotta tell you, I always amaze at what you do. It's, to me, it's something I will never be able to do. It sounds like it requires a lot of patience, but
Patience
you do
is,
it great.
it's mostly patience.
Yeah.
And I'm not really a patient person, so it's that, I'm a little, how do I do this? But it's more of a meditation to me. Like it's very precise, a lot of lines, pen and ink. And instead of, people say, that's going to drive you crazy. And I said, actually, it keeps me from being crazy because, like I said, it's meditative. And, you get into it and your mind is...
Nowhere but there.
Exactly. It clears your mind and you just, draw. And it's not confusing at all to me. Some people think, oh my God, you get all lost in this because they're very detailed.
Yeah.
And occasionally I do get lost in a drawing. It's like, I'll be doing... And I'll look and I go, oops, I forgot to put that building in. But nobody's going to notice.
Yeah, right.
And it doesn't really
you.
matter. And I think maybe subconsciously I leave things out just because it might not fit in with the design that I have in my head. So it may not be a mistake. It may be actually something subconscious that I do.
Right. That's great.
Yeah.
So thank you for bringing your art here.
Oh, well, thank
for
you.
being here with us. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started.
Well, let's see. I went to art school back in the 60s. I'm dating myself. But it was Newark School of Fine and Industrial Art, which is, it was in Newark, New Jersey, but it's no longer in existence. Unfortunately, I guess, I don't know why, but it just closed up in like the late 90s, I believe it was. But it was a great school. And the funny story, when I was talking to the guidance counselor in high school, they try to figure out like, where's these guys going, And so I remember the lady said, so what are your plans? Like, what do you want to do? And my father was an engineer, so, you want to do what your father did. I go, I want to be an engineer. And she looked at my transcripts and she goes, anything else you like to do? Because math was not my thing. So she said, I said, well, I like art. So she loaded me up with art courses, and I had a really great art teacher who helped me get my portfolio together for art school.
Right.
You have to submit a portfolio, and so she helped me, and that was it. I went to there, and then you have a family, and art is a hard way to make a living. So I did other things, lots of different things, but I always kept my hand in art a little bit. But about maybe 25 years ago, I really started getting back into it, and I've been doing it since.
Which is wonderful.
I'm retired now from my last job, and for 12, 13 years now, so I pretty much draw every day.
Right, that's great.
A little bit, or some art-related thing, framing or matting things, but art is what I do.
That's great. So tell us a little bit about the projects themselves.
Well, I do right now primarily pen and ink. That's really what I like to do.
Yeah.
Given my choice, I'll do pen and inks the rest of my life. But I do pastels, I do oil painting. When I went to art school, it was, I studied basically figure painting and oil painting. That was what we did every day.
Wow.
There was no history, no English. You just come into the painting studio and paint. It was wonderful. But I switched over. I was in a doctor's waiting room, and he had a picture on the wall, and it was a pen and ink of Central Park in New York City. And I'm like, wow. I mean, the emotion that the guy caught with just black ink on white paper. I'm like, how do you do that? And then I started, that's when I started with pen and ink. And I see the progression from when I first started to now.
Your stuff is amazing.
Yeah, it's, sometimes I'm thinking it's a little too regimented, but on the other hand, I kind of, I look at them and go, oh, yeah,
It's
I
beautiful.
kind of like them,
Yeah.
so, I don't know if it's a detriment but I like to look at my own work.
Mhm.
I
think
do,
it's
I get lost in it because I've been there
Yeah.
and I'm trying to bring somebody else there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I do. I like to look at them and certain things that aren't my favorites. If I look at them, at certain times I'm looking at them going, you know what? I haven't given this enough credit. I kind of like this thing. Well, even one of the pieces that I have here
Right.
is of a horse. It's a pastel, but I did it, and at first it was okay, but what I did, it needed more work.
Right.
And I took it out and worked on it for, I don't know, 5 or 6 more hours. And then all of a sudden, wow,
Right.
I said, well, that's all it needed was a little more. I didn't finish it. So yeah, that's the hard thing too, is when is it done?
Yeah, when is it
like
done?
sometimes I've overworked things.
Right.
And that's just as bad as underwork, worse, because it's done. If
Right.
you underwork it, you can always go back and
Yeah, right.
do a little more.
And it's funny you mention that because it sounds like a common denominator with a lot of artists where like, if they look and say, oh, let me just do
Yeah,
this. And then,
you can always see something like,
Yes.
oh, let me, I see things that I've done and sold,
right.
and I'm like, oh, if I had that back, I would do this. But somebody liked it the way it was,
Yes,
and enough to buy it, so
absolutely.
they're happy.
And
so.
they're not seeing what you're seeing.
No,
anyway.
no.
And so I'm gonna put some of your pictures in the interview so people will know what we're talking about. But do you take a picture of what you're seeing and then go home and work on it, or do you actually go there and sit?
No, I don't,
draw?
I work from, these are, they take probably, anywhere between 20 and 40 hours.
Wow.
So I go, but I take my own pictures.
Okay.
My daughter lives in New York, and I kind of focus on New York City, just because
Yeah.
it's a never-ending
York,
source.
right.
Yeah, it's like, and I don't, I'd rather do just a street scene than like an iconic, although I have done some iconic things, but, just like a street scene, people just wandering around.
Right.
And, yeah, it just,
So you take that picture because
then
you
I-
can feel that momentum.
because I've been there. It's
Yeah.
not like when you look at a picture, it's one thing, but if you take a picture where you were there, you
There's a
can
feeling.
smell the food cooking.
Yes.
I do a lot of things in Little Italy in
Uh-huh.
New York, Mulberry Street, and yeah, a lot there. That's down where my daughter lives, so I do a lot there. And yeah, you can feel, you can smell the food, and the people say, I can almost smell the food cooking. I go, then I
That's what
did my
want.
job.
Yes,
That's what I'm trying
yes.
to do. I'm trying to bring people
There.
there.
That's great.
It's not any deep meaning or any, it's just,
Right.
I want people to feel what I felt. And sometimes it works, and, well, it works, differently with different people.
Yeah, too,
Certain
that's
people
right.
like, people like different types of art.
Yeah.
Not everybody likes what I do, and,
Right.
obviously, but enough
I
to.
think it's great. I think it's
Enough
great.
to. I
Yeah.
mean, people, I had some things that, in a show, and the guy who was running the show, he said, when people come in, they stand in front of your stuff for a long time because it's intricate, and you're looking in and you see different things. And he
So
said,
much
people
detail.
stand there, and I think maybe they're thinking, is this guy nuts? Because it is a lot of
Yes.
little
Detail.
tiny
So much
lines, and
detail.
somebody one time asked me, how many lines do you think are in that painting? $250,000 or something? And I'm like,
Right.
I have no idea.
Yeah, right.
I
don't
I'm not gonna
count.
count them.
Oh, that's funny. And I know, do you still do like commission pieces?
I do a lot of commissions,
Uh-huh, okay.
that's what I do
Okay,
primarily.
good, because
Yeah, I do quite a few. And I sell some originals, but
Right.
I
do a lot of commission.
most of them are commissions,
I know.
yeah. And then when I have a little time and I'm caught up with my
Mhm.
commissions, then I do my own thing. Because
Right.
or sometimes I just want to do my thing.
Yeah.
And I have
You're busy.
commissions lined up,
Right,
and I'm
right.
like, I should really be working on one of these, but
Right.
I go, I gotta do this.
Yeah, right.
And then I'll take 3 or 4 days and just do what I want.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, you have to do that, you know,
yes.
I just have to, and I'll start one, I did one just recently of a scene in Warwick, New York.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it was a picture that I had taken a while, but it was like last fall, actually. And I saw the picture, I go, you know, that would make a nice drawing, so
Mm-hmm.
I go, well, I'm just gonna draw it out.
Right.
You know, I started out with pencil, you know, I
Yeah.
draw it out, basically the basic, like,
The
I
layout
get,
kind
you
of
know,
thing,
like
right.
some horizontal and some vertical lines in, just so the buildings don't lean one way or the other, and, you know, I can work off of that.
Right.
And, yeah, I said, well, I'm just gonna draw it out, you know, and I had to work on it for 4 days.
20 hours later.
Oh, yeah.
More
It's
than
like,
that,
that's all-
4 days
everything
later.
else, yeah, the house
Can
can fall
wait.
down, I gotta finish it. Not so with an oil painting. Oil painting,
Oh.
I'll do anything except paint.
Yeah, right.
You know, it's like, let me go out and work in the yard, and I don't like working in the yard
Yeah,
particularly.
right.
I used
Yeah.
to, but not anymore, but, let me do that, I'll go and paint a little bit, not, you know, paint the house.
Yeah, right.
Anything to not paint,
I know.
yeah, it's just, and I do,
It's not you.
it's not me.
No, it's not you.
It's just not.
Yeah,
And I
it's-
do some at times,
Yeah,
you
sure,
know,
there-
but,
yeah.
but it's not my, I feel more comfortable with a pen
Pen.
or even like, what do you call
The graphic.
Pastel.
Oh, pastel,
it?
right, right.
I feel just much more comfortable with that
Mhm.
than I do with the brush. My brush strokes, I look at people and they got these beautiful brush strokes. I go, how do they do that? I can't do that, you know?
But it's not you. I mean,
Yeah.
you
know.
do something that a lot of people can't do. That precision is amazing.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
It really
I mean, you know,
is.
the funny thing is,
You take it
if
for
you
granted.
say I can't
Yeah.
do that, and I
Right.
try not to say that,
Right.
because once you say that,
Right.
you can't do it.
Yeah, right.
Because you defeated yourself.
Yeah,
already.
that's
So
true.
what I try and say is like, it's not my thing.
Right.
I probably could do it if I
Mhm.
really
Yeah, I wanted to, right? Yeah.
spent the time.
Yeah, right.
But it's just not my thing. you
Yeah,
know.
right.
And but I still admire people that do other types of artwork.
Right.
I mean, more so, I wish that I did more of it.
Right.
But my focus is on the pen and ink. That's,
Yeah,
you know,
and
mostly.
you're amazing at it. So keep on doing
Well,
it. I
thanks.
think
Yeah,
it's
you
great.
know, I started with black ink, and then I don't know why I started with a little color. I
Uh-huh.
started adding a little colored ink.
Right.
And I did a couple pieces that were very muted, just a little color. They were black and white primarily with a little color. And I go, you know, I kind of like it now. I do full blown color.
I see.
And you know, I don't really have a preference.
Mm-hmm.
People say, what, you know, do you like the black and white better or the color? And I go, you know, it doesn't really matter. It's, you know, some things just say, this has got to be color.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
and other things, you go, oh, this would look nice and brown. Sometimes I use brown ink,
Uh-huh.
which is nice too, for
Right.
certain things.
Yeah.
And, you know, the subject dictates color, black and white or brown. And, yeah, it's like, one isn't harder than the other, it's just different, you have to think differently.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like black and white, you got black and you got white, and you gotta,
Mhm. Yeah, right.
that's what you got to work with.
Yeah.
With color, you got black and white and color, so it may seem easier, but then again harder, but it's not, it's just different.
Yeah.
You have to think different when you're doing it, you know.
Yeah.
Black and white, you know, light against dark. Color, you got color you can put against, you know,
Yeah, right.
it's just a
Faster.
different thing, but not harder or easier, just,
Different.
yeah, I like,
right.
I
Yeah.
think I have commission law, I'm gonna start it today. I've been saying that for 3 or 4 days now, but I'm gonna do it, it's gonna be a color ink,
Mhm.
for somebody, of their house.
Uh-huh. Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
And, yeah,
I think it's great. Oh, I'm so happy to have you here at the gallery.
well, thanks, I'm so happy to
Thank
be
you.
here.
Yeah,
This
good.
is beautiful, the whole
Thank you.
idea of.
Yes, I think it's great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
why
is.
not decorate the walls with real art and let people come and
Exactly,
enjoy?
you know, and, you know,
Yeah.
people, I bet the people that come in actually walk
Love it.
around and look. 'Cause,
Oh, they love
I mean, I know I would, but then again, I'm an artist, you know, but,
Oh yeah, they do. It's good.
yeah.
Aw. Well, you can come in and check Bruce art here at the gallery at First Choice Workspace in Wantage. You can also go on the website. Under the gallery is your bio and a lot of your pieces as well. And thank you so much
Thank
for
you so much.
coming.
This has
Yes,
been
it's always
nice.
great to
Thanks.
see you.